This week on The Wire, spectacular rise in market sentiment, auction results reflect confidence, and banks hold back rate cuts. G'day guys, my name is Tim Guest. I'm Australia's leading financial educator and the managing director of Infinite Wealth. Welcome to The Wire, where we cover off all the top stories happening from the week in real estate, including finance, real estate and investment. This is where you can get all those top stories. And of course, if you're a first time viewer, thanks for tuning in. Please make sure you follow and subscribe. And if you're a long time follower, love to see all your interaction with these posts. Like, love, angry, comment, shares. Don't forget our Just Ask Tim video series that we do once a week as well. If you want to get your question answered live, simply post it in the box below. And if I don't do it live, I'll make sure that one of our team gets back to you. But let's kick it off and get into the top stories happening this week. So, spectacular rise in market sentiment. So consumers think now is the time to buy a house and expect house price increases. And this is coming from a new report by Westpac. The Westpac Sentiment Survey reports a spectacular rise in expectations of house price increases and a general improvement in sentiment from real estate consumers. So housing-related sentiment showed a clear response to the lowering in interest rates, although some of the gains were more muted than seen in past rate cuts. Westpac senior economist Matthew Hassan says that the time to buy a dwelling index showed a 1.8% rise to 116.9 points, which is, while the house price expectations index recorded a spectacular 22.7% rise. So that's coming from Michael Hassan. Now, this is the highest level since August 2018. He says the RBA reduced the official interest rate to a historic low of 1.2% on the 4th of June. And this, combined with a coalition election victory and an easing of lending standards, has lifted the market sentiments. Now, domain economist Trent Wiltshire says the results are early signs of a market turnaround, and the combination of house price expectations indexes and the time to buy a dwelling index suggests consumers think prices are at or close to the bottom. So that's coming from Michael Hassan. So now getting off into our second top story, auction results reflect confidence. So Sydney has recorded its most successful auction week in more than 2 years, with analysts saying market confidence has increased significantly since the federal election result was followed by interest rate cuts and an easing of lending restrictions. Sydney had 522 auctions last week, recording a preliminary clearance rate of 75%, and this was higher than any final success rate recorded in the city since April 2017. Over the same week last year, a clearance rate of just 49% was recorded across 708 auctions in the New South Wales capital. In Melbourne, 725 auctions were held last week, with preliminary results returning a 68% clearance rate. Over the previous week, 215 auctions were held, with the final clearance rate coming in at 63%. Now, this time last year, 922 homes were taken to auction, and the final clearance rate of 56% was recorded. So some clear differences a year later when it comes to the auction results. CoreLogic International auction commentator Kevin Brogan says the result was significant, with market confidence buoyed following the interest rate cuts and state and federal elections. I think when you hear people talking positively about the state of the marketplace, that inspires a newfound confidence. So that's coming from Kevin Brogan from CoreLogic. Okay, guys, skipping into our third top story happening this week, banks hold back rate cuts. So more than half of Australian banks and other lenders have defied the Reserve Bank and the federal government by refusing to pass on the full official interest rate cut to home loan borrowers. Angry customers have been flooding mortgage brokers and loan advisors with refinancing requests since ANZ and Westpac started the trend by pocketing part of the RBA's 0.25% rate reduction. Now, an analysis by comparison site RateCity.com found that 67 lenders had announced rate reductions since the RBA's move on the 4th of June, and 34 of them had not passed on the full 0.25% drop. So more than 40 other lenders had not yet announced the move. So a significant number of lending institutions either not changing anything or not passing on the full rate cut there. Rate City Research Director Sally Tyndall says customers who have not received the full reduction have the right to feel ripped off and also had the right to move their mortgage to another lender. Financial Managing Director Angelo Benedetti says that many lenders has raised rates independently of the RBA in 2018, blaming it on the increased costs of funding their mortgages. Now that funding costs now that those funding costs have dropped, they haven't fulfilled their obligations. They haven't passed those cost savings back onto the customers. They're double dipping, which is not good. We're getting so many phone calls from clients asking to get them a cheaper option from elsewhere. So that comes from Angelo Benedetti. Now, this is exactly the same that we've been saying as well. So we've got some really, really competitive interest rates out there. 3.58 Suncorp, owner-occupied, principal and interest. Got interest rates for investors around about the 4% mark. So look, if pretty much here's how I would look at it if I were you guys. If you don't have a 3 in front of your interest rate, you want to be talking to our team and seeing what other competitive deals are out there on the market. Also, with the changes that we've that have been considered by APRA in terms of reducing the assessment rate, essentially calculating what people can borrow on a lower rate than what we've done in the past. We've already started to see some lenders not have this in their official criteria. However, if we've got clients that are kind of on the borderline there, then those banks are allowing us to use those new changes, which will be coming in the coming weeks after the consultation period from APRA has completed, guys. But look, that pretty much covers all the top stories happening from the week in real estate this week. So obviously, we continue to see some increased sentiment changes throughout the market, and this is now certainly filtering through in terms of the results in those markets, certainly in Melbourne, Sydney, Brisbane, Perth. Guys, look, if there's anything we can help you out with, please reach out. We're more than happy to do this. We've got over 4,000 clients we've been helping to achieve their goals. Okay, guys, but look, that's pretty much it from me. Once again, just a quick reminder, if you're new, make sure that you follow and subscribe so you can get this valuable information moving forward. If you're an existing client, please like, love, angry, comment, question. We'd love to see your feedback. If you've got a question for our Just Ask Tim video series, make sure you send that through as well. And please share these posts with your friends and family so they can get the benefit of it as well. But guys, that's pretty much all it from me. Hope you guys are having a fantastic week. Enjoy the rest of your week and your weekend, and you'll see me coming at you with another video series early in the week. I'm Tim Guest, guys. Have a great weekend. Speak to you soon. Good night.